Good morning. Welcome back from the business segment with Joanne. It's time for the agenda. My name is Julie F. Nantaba, and we're staying with matters education. For Uganda, schools are reopening officially tomorrow, the 10th of February, for the new school term, and that is term 1. This is after a delay due to elections, the election exercise that was here in Uganda. The first school term is running until 1st May, and that is for all schools. That is for the academic year, all schools, international schools, tertiary institutions, and universities. But the question is, are stakeholders ready? It's a conversation we're delving deep into with Mr. Senablia Francis, the headmaster of Kampala City Grammar. Before we take that route, allow me read a couple of your comments that came through as we looked at the high rate of school dropouts. And I will start with Otim Patrick from Nebi West Nile. Thank you so much for watching. You say that lack of school fees can also cause school dropouts. Thank you very much for being on the show. And teacher Igalagwa Edward from Buyende District, you say you predict school dropout has increased due to poor family background, where some parents are not teaching their children about the good benefits of education. And Martin, you say good morning. The issue of poverty is right due to high school fees increasing school dropouts. Thank you, Martin, for being on the show. And you say that your name is Nyonyi Tono Dokas, following from Iganga District, and since the major attribute of education to those who get it is a white-collar job, earning government salary and living a luxury life, you'll find that in an area like Bundibujo District, there are high cases of school dropouts, not because of poverty, but because of cocoa growing that earns you much money with just selling a kilogram. Interesting perspective on there. Thank you so much for those comments and watching UBC TV. Somebody else, David from Tororo, you say marriage and family breakdown coupled with parents' death is a cause of school dropout. And a hi, good morning. About free government school, they are never free. You go to a school thinking that whenever you are told a child has to pay 200,000 Uganda shillings for school fees, equal to that amount of a private school. Thank you, Sham, for being on the show. We do appreciate you, our viewer, for being part of the different conversations we engage you in. And this is another one that we implore you to be part of. 0709-602-592 by WhatsApp text. Let's engage and have this conversation. A parent, a teacher, a pupil, a student, are you ready for the new school term? Good morning, Mr. Senablia.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Very well, thank you. A pleasure having you once again.
Nice to be here too.
Always
Yes.
a pleasure. And let's kick off with looking at the school calendar, which was shortened by 1 week. Has this affected the school structure in any ways, in your experience?
Yeah, we thank you very much for that question, and I'd like to greet our viewers. Yes, the adjustment affected us because to have a week off the calendar, it means that the time you thought you'd cover within that period of time has been scrapped. So we need to adjust so that we can fit in the remaining time that we are given. So it did affect us, yes.
Right.
Yes.
I remember hosting someone from the Private Teachers Association, and he made mention of the fact that nothing much has been affected because, I mean, given the curriculum and the trajectory it's taking with competence-based learning, it's more of like the things that these children have been experiencing practically at home. It's more of the things that they're going to be questioned at school. They'll be asked of what they've been experiencing. Do you think, in your experience, this applies?
Well, I may not entirely buy his idea that the shortening of the term did not affect us, because originally the program that was designed by the ministry was to cover those 12 weeks. So they had a plan to make sure that the curriculum which is going to be taught to the children is going to fit within the 12 weeks. We have a tendency, by the way, of some schools starting either earlier than the scheduled time of the term beginning, or breaking off earlier than the scheduled time. So government does not make a mistake, or the minister does not make a mistake to say that the program is going to run for 12 weeks. And therefore, even if the children have been given some kind of experience at home, they need this interaction with the teachers at school for the given period of time, so that the curriculum which has been designed to be covered within that period of time is covered by these learners. Yes.
Speaking of the curriculum, at the time I did school, I will admit that we did a lot of cram work, and whatever we studied just so we would pass exams.
Yes.
Not necessarily whether we would understand or make practical sense of it. Now, in this day and age, and I'm glad that you're still actively serving in this day and age, what has changed in the way the curriculum is delivered?
I think gone are the days where you teach a child to cram the knowledge that you are giving them so that they can pass the examinations. Today, would like a learner to understand so that he can be able to apply that knowledge that he has acquired at school. So the teaching these days is competence-based. You find that a child must be able to apply the knowledge. First of all, he has to understand it. Then he should be able to apply it, and he should also be able to interpret what he has been taught, so that he can be able to understand entirely what the knowledge is required him to do. You find that this has also changed the kind of setting of exams. You find that in the olden days, they were asking more of the recall, the knowledge questions. What can you remember? What is a leaf? And a child would cram, what is chlorophyll? They would cram. But these days, they're asking the child to apply that knowledge so that he can be able to understand entirely what he was taught in the curriculum, so that he can be able to relate it with everyday life. And also comprehension. The child must be able to comprehend. He must be able to comprehend what has been taught, so that he derives a meaning out of that content that has been given to him. So gone are the days where you expect a child to only recall knowledge and just cram the work that he has been given. It has passed, it has gone.
Oh, wow. I hope it also applies to mathematics.
With mathematics, you need to cram the formulas. But the problem is to apply that formula. Because they will not ask you to use that formula directly, but you need to apply. They give you a context, you need to comprehend, and then you'll be able to derive what formula you have to apply.
Interesting.
Yes. We
are looking at schools reopening tomorrow, and we're wondering, are stakeholders ready? Be part of the conversation. 0709 602592. Good morning, UBC. Why did the ministry schedule Tuesday for schools to reopen and not Monday? What's there today? I'm Mokhtar from Wakiso. I believe a representative of the Ministry of Education would best answer this, but I don't know. Let me ask Mr. Senabia, one who is directly into the school serving system, to just in case you know of a reason. Is there a reason why? That
I will give my personal view.
Yes.
We tend to get cluster condition to the way schools start, and to many things. You find that it has been that we start schools on Monday. So when the minister now makes a change and we start on Tuesday, now people are raising questions. Why are we starting on Tuesday?
All manner of
I think this is cluster conditioning. We just think that schools must start on Monday.
Yes.
Therefore, the children in the boarding section should report on Sunday. And this happens even in my school, where I come from, Kampala State Grammar. There are parents who said, we are bringing the children on Sunday. We told them that, no, we are supposed to start on Tuesday. So yes, please bring the children on Monday. They said, no, we are bringing them on Sunday. So we tend to be cluster or conditioned or fixated to a program that has been in place for a while.
Right, and fixation should not breed conspiracy theories. Nothing is happening today, really. But in case of a communication that the Ministry of Education deems fit to be put across, why not? They will definitely be delivering it to you as UBC TV. Now, let's look at education in general, away from the education space that you're particularly serving currently. How do you think, say, universities and tertiary institutions were affected by this change? Because all schools, usually school terms begin differently for university and other school systems. But this time around, all schools, be it international schools, be it the national curriculum, be it universities, be it national tertiary institutions, were all blanketed to start on the 10th of February. So how do you think, especially universities and tertiary institutions, have been affected by this? Yeah,
I think they must have been affected because they ran a program which is not like the one for primary and secondary schools. But I also have a feeling for the international schools because international schools are following a program which is not only for Uganda,
right?
A program which is international, just as the name is, like the Cambridge. They start at different times, and therefore the changes of starting must have affected them dearly because the other schools elsewhere in the other countries could not adjust because Uganda has adjusted theirs. So I think with them they are affected seriously, and they need actually to adjust so that they can be able to catch up with the rest of the world, with those who are doing the international curriculum. But for the tertiary institutions back here at home, I think it's like for the primary school, you just adjust your programs and make sure that you can be able to fit within the sorry about that.
Yes.
Can we take this phone away?
Yes, please. Someone will be definitely aiding us on that, but yes.
So I think they just have to adjust their programs so that they can fit within the time that has been given. This could have been caused by the election that we're running. So the government wanted everybody to participate without being interrupted.
Right.
Yeah.
Very profound. Join into the conversation, 0709-602-592 by WhatsApp, and be part of the conversation. Are stakeholders ready as the schools reopen? A parent, a teacher, head of school, just like Mr. Senavlia here, be part of the conversation. Share your 2 cents as we chew in on this conversation. One thing I know for sure is conversations exhibit perspectives, and they nudge our minds to think of different corners that we had not thought of. So be part of the conversation and share yours as well. Phillips from Karamoja says, good morning, Julie and Mr. Senavlia. Thank you for the show. Stakeholders, I'm sure, include parents, guardians, sponsors, school managers, teachers, education officers, and other district leaders like CAOs, RDCs, etc. Yes, I believe they must be ready, but the problem is always the reporting days where parents send children to school a week late, maybe because teachers too report late. This requires that education officers should have started moving schools to check if teachers are ready to receive learners. Urban schools have always been ready to receive learners and start teaching, but rural schools, no, 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 no. Thank you, Phillips from Karamoja. I love the perspective that he shares on here, that there are schools that, yes, reopen, but the teachers also take their time to report to school, and he implores education officers at the district level to start making their rounds.
I think that's very, very interesting because after such a long holiday recess, yes. I would not excuse any teacher who does not report on the first day to school.
Right.
Even before that, even if you don't have a very long recess, when a program is set, it's mandatory for somebody to adhere. So if a term is to begin today, you must be there as a teacher. You must be there as a stakeholder.
Right.
There is no excuse. And I really would like to call upon the teachers, the teaching fraternity, to make sure that they report to their schools on Tuesday, because teaching should start then. It should not start tomorrow or the other day. And even the education officer. You see, when we have the stakeholder, when you talk about stakeholders, we have those ones who are directly affected by, as he has highlighted. We have those who are within the organization, within the system of education, and then we have those ones who are outside, like the service providers, the community. But those ones who are within include, as he has said, the schools themselves, the pupils, the teachers, the head teachers, the parents, those are within. They should adhere to this program. There is no excuse why they should procrastinate their beginning of business. So I would call upon the members of the teaching fraternity to make sure that they report to the schools, and they should not give any excuse that they are looking for what or what. They should go and teach the learners. And now that we have lost a full week, we must have a catch-up.
Indeed, time is of the essence, so you might as well steward that time as it's been given to you. Somebody here comes through and asks, when are Form 1s reporting? Well, Form 1s are reporting on the 16th of February. So as well as a parent, every stakeholder should be ready for that time. Now, Mr. Senablia, let's look at boarding facilities and day facilities. How ready should schools be prepared to serve day students, and how ready should schools still be ready to serve boarding students as well, or pupils at that?
Every school must be prepared to start school on Tuesday, tomorrow. And the boarding schools have got a responsibility of making sure that they prepare the schools for the children that are coming. They have to make sure that they fumigate, for instance, the premises. They must clean up. They must make sure that they stock the foodstuffs. They must have the scholastic materials available so that when the children come, they are ready to start business. And same with the day schools. Even the day schools, they need to clean up the premises. They need to have the classrooms ready. They need to prepare the scholastic materials. The teachers, both of day and boarding schools, must have prepared for the beginning of the term. They do their schemes of work. They do their preparations of lessons. They prepare the instructional materials. They display the classroom environment so that the learners, when they come on Tuesday, there is nothing like we are still preparing. They just have to be ready for the learners.
And if we just shed more light, especially with boarding schools, boarding schools usually have a problem of not allowing parents to access dormitories of the pupils or students where children sleep. And then the other problem is that boarding schools tend to be congested. In line with preparation, one, let's start with allowing parents into those premises. Are parents supposed to visit the premises where their children sleep?
In our school, I will talk about my school first of all. In Kampala State Grammar, there is nothing to hide from the parents. The dormitories are open to the parents to come and see where they are taking their children, where their children are going to sleep.
Yes.
So even before the terms begins, you find that the parents have been coming to school, especially the new ones who want to join the school. They come to see what is the school like, what is Kampala State Grammar, for instance, is like. They come to see the classrooms, they come to see the dormitories, and we take them there to see what is actually available for their learners, for their children, for our learners. So to me, I have a feeling that parents visiting dormitories has no problem. The only problem comes when they visit the dormitories at awkward hours. For instance, if it is time for the children to prepare bathing, they have finished classes, and the parents come and they want to see the dormitories, you're going to interfere with the children, especially depending on the gender. You find that the male teacher or male parents would like to visit the dormitory of girls, and the girls are getting ready, they are going to bathe. There is an interruption there. But if you go there and there is no activity that is going on in the dormitory,
Or it's VD.
Or VD, yeah, they can go and visit the dormitories and see where their children really are going to sleep. In fact, we invite our parents to come and even make beds for their children so that they know that this is where my child is going to sleep. I'm not saying that the matrons don't do it. They do it, but some parents come and they say, I want to make the bed for Francis, where he's going to sleep.
And for that one day anyway.
For that one day,
Yeah,
and that is perfect, okay.
Yes, because ultimately that parent is going to leave that child for many more days with the school authorities. And still in preparation for boarding school, how best do you think schools now should have prepared by now for the boarding section, with emergency exits, with how numbers alone in the different dormitories? Paint a picture of how a ready boarding school looks like.
I will not speak for other schools because I don't know what they have done, but
Right.
I would urge them to do what is required by the guidelines. The dormitories should be spacious. They should not congest. We had a scenario where we had children pushed into a dormitory which had a very ramshackle facilities. Or it was a wooden building, and there were children who were staffed there, and we condemned this as head teachers when we were visiting schools during our inspections. As head teachers, we also inspect schools. So we should have the schools organize the dormitories in such a way that the learners have the space. The policy says that we should have double deckers, not triple.
Oh.
So they should have double deckers for the children to be able to sleep comfortably. There should be bathrooms where they have to bathe from. There should be toilets where they use themselves, and they should be accessible. And there should be enough space. The dormitories should be aerated. They should be having enough light. There should be enough flow of air so that the children do not suffocate in these dormitories. And they should be clean. And where the need be, they should have the curtains so that the children can have the night shade off so that they don't see the outside.
Very profound. And as a parent, I believe you're taking note, at least as you're taking your child to that school or where they've been attending. Now, these are nitty-gritties you're taking note of to start looking into and paying heed to. After all, if at all, it's not as becoming as you expect from what Mr. Senablia is teaching us, you might as well bring your child to Kampala City Grammar. Good morning, I'm Jibril from Mubende. Probably are government schools ready for the reopening of this academic term? And I think I'll take that as a rhetoric question, generally forwarded to the Ministry of Education at that. Good morning, UBC, and my elder speaking. I'm Opila Robert, manager of TLC Financial Services Uganda Limited. Government has to make, I think, approval on schools before emphasis on boarding schools, because most schools have no proper accommodation. You find a child sleeps in a room without proper flow, especially primary schools. Thank you very much for being on the show. And good morning. This is Moses from Luwero. Schools are going to start tomorrow, yes. But some students are not happy because of the dates. Why? And some headmasters use the school materials in their homes.
That's not true.
Oh, very interesting. As it has said, some. Perhaps these things are happening in schools elsewhere, but definitely from what you've seen on the screen, I believe you can see the excellence displayed by Kampala City Grammar. As aware, Mr. Senablia Francis is the head teacher. You can see just the faces of the children, the different children. You can tell that they are healthy, they are well kept. The uniforms are quite the real deal uniforms, as you can say. You can tell that the children indeed are well fed. I think what's standing out for me is usually most schools bar girls from having their hair. And I noticed that at Kampala City Grammar, the children are allowed to keep their hair.
Yes.
How are they encouraged to maintain it, especially those in boarding school?
First of all, we have that open policy. The children can wear their hair as they want it. I'm one teacher among the many, or the few, who love girls to have their hair.
That's beautiful.
Because there is no problem having their hair, as long as it can be kept neat. But of course, there are schools which have policies that the children should have short hair. So these girls are able to keep their hair because the parents care. Before the children come to school, they do their hair. And there are some styles which you don't allow, definitely, those which are outrageous, and they are very funny. Right. But if the hair is well composed and smart, we allow it. And the parents can even pick their children over the weekend to go and redo it if it is growing old. But also, we have ladies who come into the school to look at the children's hair, and they can redo it. Yes, at a cost.
That's
yes, so that we maintain the children's hair.
Ah, that's lovely. Now let's look at emergency situations in institutions. How best do you advise, or not even advise, but It has to be already in the system. How should institutions prepare for emergency situations?
Yeah, the emergency includes a number of things which you have to put into consideration.
Right.
We have fire, and schools are encouraged to have smoke detectors, because when the smoke detectors are in place, it's very easy.
In classrooms, right?
In classrooms,
And
in dormitories, yes, in offices, because you never know where the fire is going to start from. Even in the kitchen, especially those who have modern kitchens like ours, because for us we use gas. So you need to have smoke detectors, because with them they will let you know that something is going off, is going bad. So they should have these smoke detectors in dormitories. They should have them in classrooms so that they can be able to detect smoke in case fire is breaking out. Then there is safety at the entrances and exits of schools. They should have gates where we have askaris, watchmen, who are checking the people who are coming into the school and keeping record of the people who come to school. Not only checking them, but also keeping record. We had a scenario in one school where somebody came and he wanted to kidnap a kid. And if you don't have this record, you can find that children's safety will be compromised. So there should be guards at the schools. Then the classrooms themselves, the staircases, the compound, the playground, the kitchen, the dining halls, all these must be placed in such a way that there are no hazards. There are no items which can injure the children, so that the safety of the children is well taken care of, and children are very safe when they're in school.
All right. How ready are stakeholders? It's the conversation we're having. 0709 602 592 is your number to text by WhatsApp and be part of the conversation. Mr. Senabulia, thank you, friend, for this service. This is Jibril from Mobende, who appreciates your service. Your service. Now, how best should teachers be ready for the new school term in order to receive the desired result at the end of the year?
The teachers, thank you very much for that question, because I expected that one actually much earlier. The teachers come weeks earlier to the start of the term.
Interesting.
Yes, because anyway, teachers are not supposed to go for holidays. It's the children who go for holidays. The teachers are supposed to be accessible in school. So the teachers must be in schools much earlier than the term begins, so that they can make preparations, the necessary preparations for the term. When they come in school before the term begins, they look at the classroom environment, they prepare the instructional materials, they prepare schemes of work. The schemes of work indicate the content that they are going to teach, and they break it down. They prepare lessons in accordance to the flow of the schemes of work. As I said, they make instruction materials, and some of these instruction materials are displayed in class depending on when they will be used. And they also arrange their classrooms so that when the learners come, eventually they find the classes very ready for them. Yes.
And how do schools, or how are schools encouraged to invest in teachers?
How are schools encouraged to invest
in teachers?
In the teachers? Yes, schools must actually invest in the teachers, because these are the ones who deliver the services. So they must pay them in time in the first place, so that they are motivated to go and work. So there must be timely payment of the teachers. And then they should provide the materials that they need to do these instructional materials. It would be absurd for a teacher to go to school to prepare for the beginning of the term, and the instructional materials he's supposed to use are absent. They are not there. The prep books are not there. The maneras, the markers. So the schools must invest in the teachers by making sure that they provide them with the materials that they need to make their work easy, to facilitate their work. The textbooks must be available, the pens, name it, should be available for the teachers.
Is there a place for schools to also, I don't know, support or sponsor teachers in their education, maybe upgrading of some sort, workshops, teacher trainings, avenues like that?
Yes, it's during actually the holidays that we have what we call CPDs, continuous professional development courses. We had 4 in my school. For each subject had a CPD to prepare the teachers. We were looking actually at the performance in PLE and the kind of assessment that was put on in PLE for last year. So they should have these CPDs, the seminars, the workshops. Then for sponsoring teachers to go for upgrading, this one depends on the schools. Some schools are incapacitated and they can't do this. But there are teachers who have planned well, like some schools. You find that teachers have circles and they save some money and they can be able to use this money to pay for their tuition for these classes that they are going to engage in to upgrade, especially now that the ministry would like all teachers to be graduates with degrees. So the teachers must go back to study. And the schools that are able to sponsor their teachers can sponsor them, but those ones who cannot sponsor them, the teachers must make an effort to make sure that they can be able to pay for their tuition and they go back and upgrade so that they can be able to meet the standards and requirements by Ministry of Education.
All right, good morning. Thank you for the show. This is Innocent from Rubaga, and I'd like to ask, how does your school handle bullying or safety concerns? This is a very profound one, and I think I would add to Innocent's concern, where bullying, the vice of bullying, comes from both teachers and fellow pupils or students. How do you think schools should handle this vice?
Bullying is not acceptable. In the school where I head, bullying is out of question. It's not acceptable. We need to have these children to coexist, to live like they are in a family. So bullying is not acceptable. It's totally unacceptable. And a child who bullies or tries to hurt a friend is punished. And some of the punishments require the children to go back home to get more talk with their parents. So yes, suspension. So there is no bullying.
Right.
In Kampala State Grammar, no bullying. There is coexistence.
And
I hope this is happening in our schools.
Because this is a real vice, by the way.
Yeah,
and
sure.
it not only comes from fellow pupils and students, but even teachers.
Yeah.
Teachers are bullies. They bully these toddlers.
Yes.
How best do you think schools should handle this vice on a larger scale?
It should be punishable. A teacher who uses corporal punishment, who bullies a child, must be punished. In fact, in some schools, if a teacher is that kind of person, is not fit to be in the school. He should quit. And you get a teacher who can be able to work amicably with the children, take care of them as friends, as his own children, so that the children are very comfortable at school. Yes.
Is there a policy by the government in one way or the other that you know of that handles this particular section of bullying from teachers and pupils as to how, by law, it should be handled by the school?
It may not be specific according to the little knowledge that I have, but there is a policy on corporal punishment.
Right.
And corporal punishment it encompasses so many aspects of punishment. And maybe you could also have a section of bullying. If a teacher is harassing a child, that is equivalent to corporal punishment. Why should a teacher harass a child? A teacher should be accommodative. He should be able to take care of this child because the parents have entrusted this child to the teacher. So the policy of government is that the teacher should be able to handle the child like his own. He should make the life of the child comfortable when the child comes to school. That is the policy. Not to bully, not to punish, not to, corporal punishment. There are punishments which we can be allowed to do, but not to administer, but not to use corporal punishment. Yes, because it affects the child.
These policies were when we did school, because some teachers...
Were you kind when you were at school?
Very much so. Very much so.
Sorry for you.
If anything, I think my generation, we have a lot of PTSD to deal with. Anyways, hi, I'm Julius in Ginger. That is a good organized school, according to what I'm seeing.
Yes, it
and
is.
what I've been hearing. That is in reference to Kampala City Grammar. Mr. Senablia, let's look at, well, we're in a generation that has a lot of exposure. Children, all of us are exposed to a lot, and especially children are exposed to a lot, especially in this internet era, that is affecting children negatively. So how best should schools cater to the mental wellness of pupils and students?
Yeah, the children can be able to access the internet so that they can widen their scope of source of knowledge. Because gone are the days where the teacher is the fountain of knowledge, and when he comes, he's the only one who knows. Today, you go to a class and you find that the children know what you're going to talk about. They have already got access to some of this information, especially if you're the school where you let the children get to know what you're going to teach them. You take them through that this term, we are going to study this and this and this and this. So some children are very brilliant. They even go ahead of you, and you find that they get exposure through the available sources of information, from the libraries, from the textbooks, from the internet. So the scope that is available for children to get knowledge has been made wide, but we have to take caution also using the internet. There are some of the areas which have to be limited so that the children do not access information which is very poisonous to them. Yes.
Reading some of the comments that are coming through, what was the logic of Tuesday? This is Hoima. Well,
the minister should be able to answer that.
Does the school provide a balanced diet, and what is it? This is
he means Kampala State Grammar.
Yes.
Oh yes, yes. Can I answer that?
Yes, please.
We have a menu, and this menu is public. It is displayed in the dining hall. It is displayed at my office. So when a parent comes, and it is well framed, the menu, and we stick to that. We may change when we have not been able to get the particular food for that day, but it will be swapping. The food which was supposed to be had today can be had tomorrow, and then the one of tomorrow can be served today.
It's not posho and beans.
No, we have a balanced diet. we give children. The children even sometimes don't want to leave school. They don't want to go back home from Kampala State Grammar because they are fed very well. And as we have seen, they look very healthy.
Now, this conversation definitely has to come to its close, but as we begin to roll it out, how do you advise schools should support parents in paying tuition, in managing tuition payment?
Yeah, schools, we tend to be very strict when it comes to collection of tuition from the parents. And we assume that all parents are ready and are capable of paying school fees for their children on set at the beginning of the term. But there are parents who are incapacitated, parents who are challenged, parents who have problems. I would like to appeal to schools that they should be considerate. They should not generalize and take the parents to be all capable of paying school fees at once, but they should leave a window of negotiation so that the parents who are able to pay off some money to start off, they can be able to pay that money. Some schools set percentages that pay 50%, pay 60% or 70% to enable the schools also begin, because the schools, especially private schools, they can't start when they don't have any money. Or the funding comes from the parents. So the schools can negotiate with the teacher, with the parents, so that they can be able to accommodate those ones who are not able to pay all the money at once. And the parents should also be able to stick to their promises, to stick to the commitment that they have made with the schools. If they say they are going to pay in a given period of time, they should be able to adhere to that, so that it makes the work of the school running easier.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you for inspiring Uganda. I'm Jonathan. I'm grateful for the services at his school commonly known as KCG.
Yes.
What best advice can you give schools who deliberately fail to pay their teachers?
That is milking a cow without feeding it. I think I would just appeal to schools to make sure that if you have to get good services from the teachers, pay them. Because the contract says you're going to pay them. So pay them and tell them if you're not able to pay, tell them you'll not be able to pay, so you don't recruit them.
Right.
So I think it's not fair for schools to engage teachers and they don't pay them because they're the ones who do the donkey work in schools.
Right, that's very profound. Mr. Senablia, what are your parting shots?
I'd like to thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this program. I'd like to wish the children who are going back to school to go to school when they are ready to get knowledge, to learn. I'd like to call upon the parents to take their children on the first day to school so that the program runs. We have already lost 1 week, so they should be able to get started immediately they get to school. Would like to call upon the teachers to be ready. Let them start right away as we get the children on Tuesday tomorrow so that business can kick off.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Mr. Senabulia. He is the headmaster of Kampala City Grammar. And we've been looking at schools reporting our stakeholders ready. That brings us to the end of this conversation. Up next is Ruben with the sports, but it's February and Valentine's is coming. So it's important that you pay heed to the notice of the Bank of Uganda. The public is cautioned against any practice that mutilates, defaces, or compromises the integrity of Uganda shilling currency. Florists, designers, gifting stylists, and their clients are particularly cautioned to avoid using currency banknotes and coins in making bouquets or any like creation. This mainly involves the use of brand new banknotes and are stuck together using glue, sellotape, pins, clips, and other adhesives or fasteners as part of floral bouquets for various social events and gifting ceremonies. This practice destroys the unity of banknotes, making them unusable in cash processing and distribution equipment, such as cash counting machines and ATMs, which are critical part of the cash distribution systems. It also results in the premature withdrawal from circulation and replacement of banknotes at unavoidable cost to the public. Whereas the bank does not object to using cash as a gift, this exchange should conform to the normal use of currency to facilitate payments transactions. Bank of Uganda is committed to safeguarding the integrity of the national currency in circulation to fulfill its functionality as a medium of exchange and store of value. This is by Kenneth Egesa, Director, Communications and Public Relations at Bank of Uganda. So whoever was planning to gift in that manner, please take note. I wonder who uses coins as a gift, though. Anyways, up next is Ruben with the sports.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning,